Hello everyone, it's Shel from Paper Rock TO Studio, and I have a quick page for you today with the prompt circles from the hashtag November Daily Art Journal 30-Day Art Journaling Everyday Challenge. So there's 1,000 things, a million zillion bazillion things you can make with circles. If you look out in nature, there's so many circular things, it's just not even funny. I mean, there's spirals also, which everything is made up, well, not everything, but, well, maybe everything is made up of spirals. You know, you've heard of the Fibonacci situation, you know, all that. But the first thing I thought of when I thought of making something out of circles was mandalas. And so that's what I went with. My friend Andrea Kidman, who has a channel, she's got a really good channel. She's been making pages every day as well. She said, go with the first thing that you think of because it won't get out of your head. So I agreed with that, and I decided to go with making a mandala, but also making it into a dream catcher, which is something from Native American folklore where you put it near your bed and it catches any bad dreams and keeps them away from you. So I combined those two things. And I have a little canned chicken can on my desk there that I keep just some circular mark making type tools in it because I'm using circles frequently and I like to use them to make marks, you know, with paint. So I just have it right there on the desk. And I use that, well, first I use my masking tape to make the outer and first circle, and then I use some mark making tools to make the other circles. Then I used a bubble stencil to make circles around the edges on the outer layer, and then I just did lines and squiggles on the inside. Then I put some beads on and some strings, and now I'm drawing feathers. So what am I drawing with? Why is it light blue, and why am I drawing in light blue? Well, this is the Molotow masking fluid pen. It is like a marker with masking fluid in it, and masking fluid or frisket is something that watercolor artists use to block out areas where they don't want any color to go. So it's like a rubbery stuff. It's like a kind of like rubber cement sort of, and it blocks out the white paper, so then when you put watercolor over it, that area stays white, and then at the end when it's all dry you rub the masking fluid or frisket off. So that's what I'm doing today, and that's why this is a quickie. I'm just making a quick drawing in my art journal, and this is the Dilutions small art journal. So this paper, I don't know what kind of paper this is. It might be Bristol or something, but it's a little bit strange, and I do have some trouble with it later, as you'll see. So once my masking fluid was completely dry, then I'm just going back in with my eraser pen and cleaning up some areas where I thought the lines were too fat, or I went somewhere I didn't want to with the masking fluid. This little pen is from Tombow, and it's got a really tiny eraser, so I can erase in very small areas. So this works pretty well for helping me to clean up the masking fluid in places I didn't want it to be, because I was freehand drawing with it, so you know, you got to be able to erase somehow. So then I have some Colorburst powders by Ken Oliver, and I have some Brusho crystals. Similar products. The powder is a little bit more fine and it swooshes out from a nozzle, and then the Brusho, I have taken pins, push pins that you hang up things on the wall, taken those and poked a hole in the middle of each little canister, and then I put samples on the top of what's in it, and then I just pull the little push pin out and use it as a shaker because they're a little bit more bigger crystals. They just shake out pretty easy. There's a couple different ways you can apply this. You can put water on and then put the crystals in it, or you can put the crystals on and then put water on top. Also, you could just use it as a watercolor by putting it on a palette, you know, like a palette with wells, and then putting a little water, and you'd have a fluid watercolor. Fun stuff. I love to play with this. You've seen me play with it before on my channel a few times. I'll link some of the other videos that I've used them in, but I think they're very fun. At this time, I'm attempting to place them as well as I can in certain places. So the center there that was supposed to be yellow has gotten pretty darn mushy because the water ran over it, and that violet that I put on the outside is really dark. But the feathers are pretty isolated, and they've stayed pretty true to the colors that I put on them. And then now I'm filling in with the turquoise Brusho and trying to keep it in the areas that are the white, the background. So I'm using a paper towel, and it is making a beautiful tie-dyed paper towel as I'm doing this with turquoise and purple that I'll use sometime in another project, you know, because it'll be fun to use it for a collage background or something. But I'm especially concerned about the water seeping in the center of the pages because I know that it will seep all the way through the binding into all the other pages if I don't keep control of it. So I'm really being careful about not letting it pool in the center. Because this isn't flat, because it's in a book, it is rolling towards the center all the time. So that's a little bit annoying. That's one thing about working in a journal that's already bound. Once I get filled of all my journals, I think I'm gonna start doing binding with D-rings and just working on flat pages, because having that center line it causes a few different types of problems and becomes a little bit annoying. So then I'm going back in with some violet in different places again, just to spread it out through the page on some of the beads and on the edges a little bit. And then I want to pump up this orange feather and then put the red on that other red feather to make them look different, because they look like they're the same color at the moment. So not too bad of an application, considering this stuff is completely not very controllable at all. So once it's all dry, I need to remove the masking fluid or frisket, and I'm using a rubber cement eraser or a adhesive eraser. It's I don't know, it's a kind of a hard rubber, and it just helps me peel back. But it also is peeling the paper a little bit, so I'm trying not to be too rough with it. You can also peel it with your fingers by just rubbing your fingers over it until it beads up, but it hurts my fingers if I do it too much. It's, you know, pretty abrasive on the tips of your fingers. And my fingers take a lot of abuse anyway from getting paints on them all the time and having to be washed. And after this page, my fingers were completely stained. That's one thing about Brusho and Colorburst, is that it stains your fingers. And I should have put some liquid gloves on or something first, but I forgot. So now I have stained fingers. But oh well, one hand is purple and the other one's turquoise, so it's, you know, I like those colors. I guess my skin can be that color for a while. So I'm rubbing the frisket off with my eraser and then peeling the little balls of it off the end of the eraser as I go. Also, I'm working, this is the very last two-page spread in this book. I've decided that I'm going to start working from the back forward now, because the front section of it is so fat from all the pages, and it's starting to be like uneven. So now if I work from the back, then I can work back into the center. Well, not really the center, I don't think, but you know what I'm saying? Going back to forward instead of just going from page to page to page to page in the front. So now that I'm done with all the removing of the masking fluid, I'm going to use these shimmery Posca pens that my friend Peg Robinson gave me as a gift. They have a metallic or mica finish, and there's 8 colors, 6, 7, 8, 7 or 8 colors. So I'm just using them on the different beads around everywhere, just here and there. And this is adding a shimmery little spots of color. Looks pretty cool, actually. Very cool. Of course, you won't be able to see how shimmery it is because this is video, and even in the photos you really can't. But it's pretty, trust me. Because, you know, I do like that shimmery art sometimes. Most of the time I'm a matte girl, but sometimes I like the shimmers. And that's why we're doing the shimmery art collaboration. And I think I forgot to tell you in the November shimmery art collaboration that we made a Facebook group. If you want to join, it's just called Shimmery Art. You can go search for it. And we'll be doing December, January, and February collaborations as well with Shimmery Art. So if you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment, share, so that my channel will continue to grow. And go ahead and go to Instagram if you use it and type in hashtag November Daily Art Journal and you'll see everyone's pages. Also down below the video there should be a link to Peg's and Sherry's pages using the same prompt, because I put them there, hopefully. If I didn't, well, you can just go to their channels. Anyway, that's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.